everyone. Welcome to the second hour of National Report. We're glad you're here. I'm Emma Reckenberg.
I'm Sean Kreisman. Jurors right now returning to the courtroom this morning to hear more testimony from witnesses. This in the trial of former Minneapolis police officer Derek Chauvin.
Last week, jurors heard from 19 people, witnesses, who broke down on the stand when they spoke about how they tried to intervene on George Floyd's behalf. But it was the testimony of one veteran officer that may have done the most damage to the defense. Listen.
Once you handcuff somebody, does that affect the amount of force that you should consider using?
Absolutely.
How so?
Once a person is cuffed, the threat level goes down all the way, you know, to they're cuffed. How can they really hurt you, you know?
All right, here to react now to all of this and more, we have Newsmax insider, political consultant Clarence v. McKee. He is also the author of this book here on your screen. It is titled How Obama Failed Black America and How Trump is Helping It. So glad to have you on here, Clarence. So many eyes on this case, as you well know. Probably the most watched in this country next to the O.J. Simpson trial we saw back in the 90s. How do you think this is going to play out, not just only in the courtroom, but the court of public opinion?
Well, you know, it's good morning. Good to be with you. It's going to be very difficult because it's very, very emotional. You watch that video and all facts go out of your mind. I think they should have moved this trial out of Minneapolis, first of all, and that the jury should be sequestered. There's so much emotion in that community, I think jurors will be intimidated. The big issue, of course, is what was the cause of Mr. Floyd's death? Was it that knee? Or was it his drug abuse and health issues, or a combination of both? And that's what the jury's going to have to decide and try to go by facts. And if they keep playing this movie over and over and over again, I worry that it might kind of numb the jury, but it's going to be very difficult, and it's a very mixed jury, too.
He's facing Derek Chauvin, former Minneapolis police officer, facing second-degree murder charges as well as manslaughter. And some legal pundits say this is going to be, despite what you see on the video, to prove this in the court, to get all 12 jurors on board here, that may be difficult. It may be a tall order. This may take 6 to 12 months to determine the outcome of this. How significant will this be in getting all of these charges thrown at Derek Chauvin? How important is that to the folks that have seen this video, specifically, as you talked about, those in Minneapolis?
Well, you know, the point is, sometimes you may wonder, sometimes prosecutors overcharge. So if you overcharge, sometimes you let somebody get off. So I think this emotion is going to be very, very important, and how the prosecution plays it. Use facts, and not so much the emotions. Can be very difficult. But you've got a jury that's varying in ages. You've got some that are, you know, under 30 who are not prone to cops, who maybe like Antifa and the Black Lives Movement. But it's going to be difficult. But I think the jury may come through. But they're in Minneapolis. They're worried about their neighbors.
You know, let's talk about that, because the emotion of this case plays out as we see. The emotion plays out when you hear testimony. And like you pointed out, when you see the video being played, and all of us have seen it, it sparked movements across the nation. It sparked movements across the entire world, I would say, specifically with Black Lives Matter. And then it brought up the topic of the most heated discussion that we've had for decades and decades, the topic of race and race relations. And I want to play this for you, because this is something that made headlines over the weekend. Charles Barkley, NBA grade. You may have seen it. I'm going to play it for the viewers, but he gave a critique, a biting critique of American politics on Saturday, saying this about both Republican and Democratic lawmakers. Here's that.
And black people are great people. I really believe that in my heart. But I think our system is set up where our politicians, whether they're Republicans or Democrats, are designed to make us not like each other so they can keep their grasp of money and power.
Does Charles Barkley have a point?
He is, that is a home run. That's a three-pointer, let me tell you. It's about time that somebody said this from the black community. They're trying to play a game. This racism is horrible. It's a race phobia. And as I said in the article in Newsmax, you know, they're going to be turning this country into the old South Africa of race, apartheid and apartheid. Racial division doesn't work. You've got a few people on the left. You've got this new senator from Georgia, the lying president of the United States, spurring racial warfare almost. just for political gain. And I'm glad Barkley spoke up. We need more like him because blacks have to say, stop it, knock it off, quit using us. Let's end this. It's not good for our kids.
Well, come back and see me anytime. I'm out of time here. Clarence V. McKee joining us live. Clarence, good to see you. Thanks for your time.
Thank you. Good show.